All right, welcome back, everybody, to ITUTv podcast. Today we are talking about the updated economics going on as of March. We're getting into month 3 of the year. Ending the first quarter, man, it's been pretty crazy. Trump's been hitting things off with a lot of tariffs. He also speaks tonight, and we're gonna get Mike's viewpoint today as our economic extraordinaire to let us know what we got going on, man. What we can look forward ahead, looking for this address coming up.
A lot actually. So we're in a heightened season right now. Of course, at the beginning, there's a lot of tensions rising apparently as well. We've seen the situation with Ukraine, with Zelensky when he was here. We'll get into that as well because that, to me, a lot of this stuff it's a joke. To be
Yeah,
honest with you.
yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
ridiculous.
So I think as far as economics go, we're still in the reset, but the things haven't happened that need to be put in place yet. So, like for
Hmm.
example, ISO, right?
Yep.
ISO was supposed to take place as of today. Actually, it's supposed to be live for the U.S. It got pushed back to July. See a lot of effect with the crypto come June, unless something happens sooner than that, where it may be sped up. I don't know. I think a lot of the incompetence that's going on is preventing some of these things from happening, right? So
Hmm.
you got Democrats that are trying to stop everything that is going on here, right?
Right,
When
right, heavily.
it needs to happen, like this stuff needs to happen, the reset needs to happen,
Yeah.
but everything is timed at a specific, era. So when it happens, but it doesn't surprise me that there's pushback on a lot of stuff. Um, it's funny because even the country is becoming more and more divided. I can see it in my Twitter feed. Putting it this way, I'm a strong independent, right?
Of
Strong
course.
independent
Yeah, yeah.
because I have my own beliefs on everything and what I would like to see. And I know it's not a perfect world, so I have to end up sacrificing something. If I'm going to go vote for somebody, I may have to sacrifice something to get something I really want. You know what I mean? So, like in this case, all I see though, and I can feel the emotional change, which is weird. I
Hmm.
go into my feed and it's a bunch of liberal shit,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Because I feel like it's posted in my feed that way. Because normally algorithms will follow what you positively speak about, right?
Hmm.
If I positively speak about a post with the Detroit Lions, guess what? I'm going to get a feed of a whole bunch of Detroit Lions stuff.
Right. It's what you attract.
It's kind of weird, right? It's kind of weird that I've posted things about some of the changes that are happening, helping people understand kind of the whole tariff thing, which I think we talked about it on the last episode. So, I'm trying to help people understand this, but then all of a sudden I get all this hate mongering shit from liberal sides, and it's like, I even posted on there and I tagged Elon on it. Of course, he's not going to see it. He doesn't give a shit. But I'm like, Elon, if I'm pro Doge, right? If
Hmm.
I'm pro of everything that's going on right now, I may not be a Republican, but I like the steps that are being taken. Why am I seeing all this negative shit? Why am I seeing all this stuff that goes against what I'm not
In your
attracted?
feed.
Right?
Right.
Why is that? So it's almost like the divide is being made happening. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a weird time right now, bro. It's really a weird time,
Very.
but it's always got to get darkest before it gets light. Like I told Chris, these things that are happening for a reason. We just have to trust the process. And there's a lot of people that want to try and stop the process and they get emotionally wrapped up in shit.
And there's so much going on at once. That's even adds to the divide because now everybody has all these separate topics that they have an opinion on that may sway them from what they really need to be focused on as far as what's the future look like for them and their families. You know what I
Right.
mean? There's a lot of other distractions there in that space. So you've got to really pay attention, follow the money, right? That's normally what's told. So follow
Right.
where the money's going and be able to shape your future. Because this is huge. I mean, tariffs. He's pulling tariffs on everybody. Now China's pissed off. They're throwing tariffs back.
Okay, so here I want to pose this, right?
Hmm.
My internet is actually coming. It says it's unstable, so if I'm breaking up, let me know.
You're good right now.
So I kind of think World War III could still be happening. It wasn't going to be on Biden's watch. It's going to be on Trump's, right? The bad things that happened. Let's say COVID. COVID happened on Trump's watch at the end of it, right? But Biden looks like a hero. Now we're given a four year terrible economy that almost had people into not only a recession, but we almost touched a depression a couple
Oh
times.
yeah, we're seeing that in the charts now.
Right. That now it's going to end up in what needs to fix it is going to end up, if we're sitting here at a war, guess what? It's going to be on Trump's watch, right? Let's expect it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So the way that I see it is this, and I think I might be jumping ahead on some of these things here where we're talking about literally what's going on politically, right? And with some of
Yeah.
these topics I have listed, but Zelensky comes here, completely insults us, but it was a perfect setting, right? So
Hmm.
the whole goal right now, especially on a liberal side, is to get the world to hate what's going on right now, which is funny because they're the first ones that complained about January 6th, right? But yet they're
Hmm.
talking about let's boycott this and let's go overthrow the government type shit. Like I don't want to use the word overthrow, but I've seen posts let's storm the Capitol type shit, not on some
Hmm.
facetious stuff either.
Hmm.
Literally, like it's okay for us to do it, but we're gonna complain when y'all do it, right? So the hypocrisy is there, and I see the hypocrisy. I see the hypocrisy in all the posts that go on. And it's almost like the whole goal is to get the whole world at this point, let's rile up the whole world to hate this administration so we can get back into the good graces. I can see that is what's kind of going on. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
But yet, the last 4 years, I ask any liberal if we financially suffered for 4 years on some dumb shit. Like, why are we sending money over to Ukraine? Why are we doing this? Which I think the overall answer for that, if anybody's curious, is at one point we took over some nuclear weaponry,
Hmm.
and it was supposed to be our payback to protect them. They're not part of NATO, this, that, and the other, right? But how long do we have to protect you, like, as far as that favor goes, right? So it's like,
Right.
damn, this was like 20, 30 years ago or something like that.
Hmm.
So it's like, damn, what the hell is going on? Like, how long do we have to sit here before you want to pick a fight with one of the biggest countries and militaries in the world, right?
Yeah.
So, and I understand the importance of Ukraine for the trade routes for Russia. If they take over the Ukraine, they have a full off
Beeline.
trade away to be able to import and export right through Ukraine.
Yep.
So I get it. I get it. There's benefits for Russia to take over Ukraine. Ukraine's expecting our help because they gave us this nuclear weaponry at one point, right?
Hmm.
But you're not doing anything for yourself. In fact, your people are begging for you to sign a peace treaty to get this thing over with.
Right. They're ready for it to end.
Right. So we come into a position where we're like, we're going to continue to protect you, right? You have to sign that 50% of these mineral deposits, as far as the financial side of it, comes back to us to pay us back for what we
Right.
gave and you have to concede to Russia what they've already taken, but this ends right here, right now.
Right.
You get to keep what you have left. And it was agreed upon, right? It was agreed in terms to the point to where this man came to the United States, sat in the Oval Office, and then the 11th hour decided to change his whole mind. And he didn't want to come with a peace offering. He wanted to come with demands. And then he proceeded in that whole thing to threaten us, right? So just the other day now, like that's what we saw that went viral, right?
Hmm.
Vance and Donald Trump burying Zelensky in the Oval Office telling him, "You can't tell us what we need to fear, what's going to happen." Like, because who are you to call these shots, bro? Your military is only what it is right now because of what we provided to you.
Right, the support you have.
And your people are asking to stop. So when we pull out of everything, and it's literally up to you,
Mm-hmm.
what are you going to do? How are you going to do this? How are you going to maintain this level to fight
Right.
one of the biggest, baddest militaries in the world?
Don't bite the
By the
hand
way,
that's feeding you, man. Don't bite the hand that's feeding you.
right. By the way, what are the top two militaries in the world?
What was the hours in China?
Ours in Russia. China's right there, but ours in Russia.
Okay.
And I asked that for a reason, because I want you to see where this is going, right? Or where it could go, that a lot of people aren't necessarily talking about. Right now, because of the tariffs, because of this, because of that, because of the Ukraine situation, right? We're now, excuse me, we're not creating enemies with our allies, but our allies are pulling away from things. Russia would never support the European Union because they support Ukraine, right? Which is funny because Ukraine doesn't pay into NATO.
Uh-huh.
Ukraine's not part of NATO. The countries surrounding it are part of NATO, but they want free support from NATO countries. Why? Because of this nuclear agreement that happened so long ago? No, we pay billions upon billions into NATO as the United States. The other countries do not. They combined, they pay, what was it, 47%? All the other countries in NATO pay 47% of what brings into NATO, where the US pays 53% of it.
Wow.
Why? This is what Donald Trump was screaming back in 2016. We need to pull out of NATO. Let them feel the pain of not having the United States involved, right? So that's why I say all those are European Union countries. So then I ask, that's why I say, like, do you find it a problem? Because I don't, because whenever we need something done, France is never there. Right? Like the strongest military that's part of it is probably Germany, but they're no match for the United States. So in this case, you get countries to alienate the United States as allies because they just had, like I was just saying, they had this NATO meeting that did not have the United States invited to it. But guess who was invited to it?
Who's
Ukraine.
that? Uh-huh.
Ukraine. So it's funny, and they all embraced Ukraine, this, that, and the other. Europe is getting this high and mighty feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's, oh, let's point the finger at the U.S. We're not liking this whole Trump administration with these tariffs, with what he's doing, this, that, and the other. So you're a bad guy as the United States. So what's been happening this whole time as far as this relationship between Putin and Trump? Bro, everybody's claiming these guys are best friends. These guys are best friends.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to understand something. You don't have to be friends to work in business. You don't. It's not called show friends. It's called show business.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if people can put differences aside to work with each other, business can succeed. You think that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin do you think they have to be friends when there's billions of dollars at stake and
Nope.
world dominance?
Yep.
They're not. They can put all those differences aside and they can work together. I guarantee it. The one thing that stands in the way is the fact that Russia and the United States have to be at odds. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but ever since the beginning of, let's say, time that we know of as, Russia and the United States have always been enemies. Always. And there's reasons for that. And guess what? I watched this clip. I gotta send it to you on Twitter. This dude broke it down so simply. It's
All right, guys, welcome back to the episode. We were just sitting with Mike and discussing what's going on with Zelensky, and he's got a good clip for us to check out. So, Mike, it's all you.
Yeah, so where we were at before was I was talking about this post. There's a guy, this guy right here, he goes by the older millennial. If you take a look at him and what he's got on Twitter, it's actually interesting. So he breaks down. There's a video. It's about 10 minutes long. This one's only 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. But he's got a 10-minute video that breaks down the exact reason as to why the U.S. and Russia need to be enemies, right? Well, so I'm thinking in my mind, thinking outside the box, right? Thinking for myself as usual. And I was thinking about this where I was like, what happens if these two can, like we talked about before the break, if these two can put differences aside and work together on business side of it, what's to stop these two from actually joining forces in a way? Right? So they always say there's everything's fair in love and war, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why it has to be business. It has to be a business understanding. You don't get emotions tied up in these situations, right? Now, outside of being against communism, which is ironic because it's almost like we were on the doorstep of a communist opportunity if we had Kamala Harris involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people want to go for that. Liberals want to go for that, but yet we're against communism, whatever. Now, as far as that goes of what I just said, I know there's people that are going to look at that and be like, what the hell is he talking about? Because there. If you have to understand the socialist path to socialist to communism and capitalist, right? You understand those paths, and you'll get where I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people get confused by that, but I'll tell you, one leads to the other, and we were right there. So if we're to me personally, I think a capitalist economy is the best because we get the best opportunities for ourselves as people to be able to maximize our own opportunity to make money.
I can agree with you there. I can
Right.
definitely agree with you there.
Okay. So if we can't have emotions in war, or not necessarily war, but even in business deals, and we have two individuals that understand this, how can that not how will that not succeed? I
Well,
think it's
we
for
gotta
the
know
world.
what we're working with, though.
But here's the thing. The reason why I asked that was because it's almost like as Americans, we've been taught to hate Russia. And this is what we know. Is it not? You couldn't give me a reason as to why you don't, like, you think it's a bad idea if we team up with them, but you have no reason not to like them. You have nothing. I don't either. I came up with that conclusion from mainly for myself because I'm like, you know what? I don't know enough about Russia to say I hate them and I don't want to team up with them.
Right, right.
I've just been taught that.
If you got
Right.
any qualms with Russia out there, please just drop them in the comments because I just haven't been in any scenario for that type of, feeling to develop, or that idea to develop in your head. I mean, outside of what you see portrayed in the media and whatnot, but
And that right there is exactly why I asked the question and why I
mhm.
want people to think, right? Think for yourselves in the sense of, well, okay, eliminate TV. Why else do you not like Russia?
Right.
what you learned in school. Because as I've said before, I feel like schools have agendas. I feel like TV, mainstream media has their own agendas, right? They're going to teach us this. Like, I'm going to say something here that actually can be offensive to some individuals, but I want you guys to think about this. I saw a clip of a African American lady that said, I heard that local schools are going to be taking out Black History Month. And she said, thank you for doing that. The reason why she said thank you for it, though, is because of the agenda of the way that these schools teach it. They teach it in the form of slavery, 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 but they never touch on the positive inventions, the positive side of the contribution to society that African Americans have had. Our schools continue to push slavery, 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 slavery.
I think
Why?
there should be both. One, you can't have one without the other. Okay, we can't mask up one and then be worried about the other, because then they would do that would be like the same with like the Holocaust or something. So I would prefer that it all get taught.
And there's no problem with that. There's no problem with understanding the past as long as
Yeah,
you understand both sides, right? But our
right,
schools don't do that. And
correct.
not just that. Do we ever hear about all the Irish individuals that had been slave traded at one point? No.
Nope.
We hear about what happened with Africa, right? And the way that we're taught in schools
Was the
are
Americas involved though with the Irish one?
no, this is all European slave trade.
So that's probably why we don't hear. I mean, I would assume that, I could be making an ass out of myself right now, but I would assume that that is part of their history in their history books there, or should be if it's not.
And, okay, then I mean, was America involved in the Holocaust?
Yeah, we sent troops
We
over
were
there.
involved in the World War.
Not
We were involved in the World
right.
War to end it.
That now that's the only I've never heard of our involvement. But there's a multiple things to this though, right? So
Did,
we got to
did you
know.
see where I'm going with this? You see
Wait,
where I'm
hold
going?
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. We gotta remember the roles that the Jews do play in the United States. Okay, they
Of course, of
right.
course, of
Okay,
course. No,
so
I get that.
of
I get
course,
that.
what I mean, that's gonna be a thing. But for
I
most
get.
parts of history, it should be include history that involves that country. Now, even when I learned about it, I didn't learn about America's involvement in the Holocaust, but yeah, like you said, in World War II, going over there and after the fact.
Right.
But either way, we took part in that part, so that should be taught.
I'm not disagreeing with it, but
Yeah.
the other thing that we're also taught, and I'll wrap this up here on this topic itself, where how are we taught that, let's say, American slavery
Mhm.
happened? These guys just got put on boats and brought over to the United States, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
That's how we high level understand it from the school perspective, right?
Right.
Is it not under it's so in that case it's not understood that it was African kings that were selling their own people in that slave trade.
Yep. They did the same thing with China too.
So this is what I'm getting to is that in the school system they want to pick and choose what they teach
Oh,
because
of course.
agenda. It's the agenda of what's being marked to actually put
Of
out there
course.
for us to learn.
You
If
need to
you dive
homeschool your
in,
children, by the way.
huh?
So people need to homeschool their children.
Right. It's just odd to me because history is so much more broad than what they can teach in a
Mhm.
8 month
Set amount of time,
whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
4 year span. Because
right,
they try to start it really like maybe your seventh, eighth grade year, you get a little bit, but then really through high school.
right. But it's the early on that sets those influences and tones,
Hmm.
right? So
Right.
my
By the
whole
time they
point
get
is
to
this:
college, they already have an idea developed.
wrapping it back up now. So we based upon the topic of what we just talked about, there's a lot of holes in a lot of the history that's being taught in these public schools these days, right?
Hmm.
So I ask again, why do we not like Russia outside of maybe their political views and that's it? If they're a threat, right? And a lot of people feel like there's a threat. Now, based upon them being a threat, this video that I'm showing here, right now, this one says, high level, if Russia is such a threat, then why can't we just let Ukraine fight them themselves? Right? Like he says right here, Ukraine could win, then everyone needs to shut the fuck up about how dangerous Russia is into the rest of the world. Because they're never ever going to defeat Russia. I have to admit that, regardless.
Right. We all know this.
Right.
Without support, it's a wash.
Right. They have to have us. They have to have us involved.
Right.
So literally, right now, Zelensky is begging, and he's looking like a clown. He's demanding $280 billion from us. We laughed at him, said, no, we're going to actually take 100% of your mineral deposit. And then we lowered it to 50%. He said, okay, cool, I'll agree to that. And then he comes over here and insults not only the president, but when you insult the president, you're insulting the country no matter what, period. And here's what I'll say to this, is that if you don't take it as an insult, period, and you're standing for Zelensky, take your ass to Ukraine and you go fight for them.
What you over here for?
What are you on this land for if you don't want to be American? Go to the Ukraine. Oh, no, and I guarantee you 0% will do that. So there's the hypocrisy right there. There's hypocrisy right there. But regardless, now I digress a little bit. Get back to where I'm going. So we have these allies that are turning around and not liking the United States. We're not enemies yet, but at some point we could, which is so guess who absorbs all those allies? China's over here salivating, saying, "Oh, we can get all these countries because they're not going to like the United States. Oh my gosh, let's do that."
I don't think they would agree.
Oh yeah. But see, that's because Xi understands business. That is why the U.S., China, and Russia are the three biggest militaries and biggest, as far as countries go, the biggest thing, right? Because we understand that. We understand that. So he doesn't have to be friends with anybody in the European Union countries
for them to come to agreements.
Military portion, right?
That's true.
And they're going to follow along. They're going to follow along and be, oh, okay, fine, right? But then you've got, I'll give a perfect scenario for this, like the analogy. Then you've got the U.S. and Russia at that point saying, well, they got all these countries. We got to do something. Let's work together. Now you've got number one and number two versus number three and the rest of those small militaries that don't do anything. Boy, you know what that's like? You know what that's like? That's like Shaq and Kobe of 2000, 2001, and 2002, bro.
That's a fact.
That's Michael and Scotty in the 90s, bro.
Well, he's going to have to address this tonight.
So, well, tonight, I think what tonight's going to be, I digress. I just wanted you guys to see where this could be going politically, right? Because there's a lot that could be unfolding where we could still see World War III. We really could. A lot's going to happen within the next month or so. So addressing tonight, I think is going to be more about the tariffs. He might address Zelensky a little bit because he likes to poke the bear. But all in all, I think that personally, I mean, Zelensky really has nothing to do but to concede to us. He's going to end up having to sign that agreement. He's going to end up losing what he's losing, and he's going to look like a fool. Liberals are going to be upset because he's going to cave in and Trump bullied him, Trump bullied him, Trump bullied him. No, bro. Understand that he put himself into this position. And not just that, but that next deal that's going to come is not going to be for 50%. It could be for 75% of the minerals, for 100% of the minerals.
Yeah, because I hear they're setting up for a peace deal favoring Russia to end what's going on.
Yeah, now, sorry, Zelensky, you had your chance. Now, Russia going to get what they want. And if you don't pull out, then guess what? So here's the other thing. If you're military, if you have a leader, right? Let's say now our military loves Donald Trump.
Of course.
Our military individuals love Donald Trump. I don't care what you see on mainstream media. The true military loves Donald Trump. If they were to hate him, what do you think that they're going to do? They'd get him removed immediately.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the Ukraine soldiers are going to do? The Ukraine military is going to do, because they're sitting here begging and begging for this to end, because they know they're fighting a losing war.
Mm-hmm.
Zelenski's going to lose his job. And in my opinion, rightfully so. You put these people in danger, bro. Be accountable. You picked a fight you couldn't win. You picked a fight you couldn't win. And then you come over here and insult us, and then says that our kids need to be aware. Excuse me? You're threatening not only the American people, but you're threatening their children? It's going to come to our front doorstep? Are you kidding? What are you going to do to the United States? And I'm sorry, but if you think that Germany and France are going to help you beat us, no, man, that ain't gonna happen. And if you're starting to it reminds me of like in elementary school, right? Little kid picking a fight with a bully only because his bigger brother is going to be there to protect the little brother, right? Little brother over there picking a fight with a bully, and
But he can't
not
handle
knowing that the bigger brother is going to be like, nah, you started that, get your ass whooped,
it.
right? And in this case, bigger brother is going to be China. You haven't even had an agreement with China. China hasn't absorbed any of our allies or anything like that. We haven't even got close to any of that. I'm just spitballing here, right? Because I can see how this
Right.
goes, or what the hope
Right.
is. If it comes down that this does happen, and you're sitting here trying to pick fights with bigger countries because you're assuming that China's going to be there for you, guess what? Now you really made an ass out of yourself, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So I digress from the political portion. We need to get back into the economy. It's just interesting to me. It's crazy.
They're messing with a small silver line here, man.
Yeah. Well, and so economically in the U.S., what we're going to end up seeing now, because of these tariffs, is that our U.S. dollar is dropping. Right?
Yep.
We saw a big bearish move today. Why? Because it's
Yep.
how we describe the U.S. dollar on the DXY. Stronger on the outside of the country than it is on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's weaker on the outside, while it's still fairly weak here because everything is so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
We need it to reverse, right? Where we needed it to be stronger here and weaker out there. We needed that. So the first thing is done. It's now weaker out there. Now we need to focus on building it stronger here. And that's where things will end up turning. So we could end up being into a turning point into a new market cycle.
Yeah.
Mark me saying it, because nobody really knows when the market cycles actually change.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you right now, we're in a new one. I think he's going to address mainly those topics of the tariffs, what he plans to do. He's not concerned about any of the BS that's out there. I think it's literally Ukraine. Probably he might address that GDP portion,
Okay.
which is important, because if those findings are not included in GDP or whatever it may be, that could really affect how the GDP is going to be viewed, right? Because we're looking at production at that point, gross domestic product, and if we can't account for how much money that they're missing, I think so. When you hit an increase of inflation at a certain percentage and GDP drops to a certain percentage,
Mm-hmm.
which is at a negative 10%, you've got what? You've got a depression. I tend to kind of believe, if I'm looking at the glasses half full on this stuff, a lot of the reason as to why that stuff may not be reported is because if they were to report it, the production, the gross domestic product itself, which is, it really measures like how busy we are, right? Our
Yeah.
production of what we have coming in, going out, imports, exports, etc. So if we found that there's money that's being spent in areas that it shouldn't be and is being wasted here and there, and guess what? Our GDP is going to immediately drop if the amount of money exceeds what would allow the percentages to be. Meaning, there was what, 100 and something billion worth of misspent money so far, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If that gets applied to the GDP, we go from what, -2% to like a -8. Right? So depending on that money and how it was spent, that's what I'm saying. I think it's to save us from an actual depression or a labeled depression.
Yeah.
Because our productivity out here in the United States
Mm-hmm.
literally has been shit. Obviously. Obviously. So I don't know. I'll be interested to see how that works. But he may address those things tonight too.
Wow. The way we're looking at the market right now, how do you feel like should we see further decline or
In the U.S. dollar,
potential US dollar and in maybe the indices? I mean, dollar's going to set the stage for everything, but
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like this could be the reset that we've been looking for. I kind of feel like that with the crypto portion, right?
hmm
With crypto, we we're seeing a massive drop, right? And I believe a lot of that's because of ISO. You'll see in the news that there was 150 or 1.5 trillion dollar heist from in Bitcoin. Yeah, it was crazy.
really,
Yeah. Oh, $1.5 billion heist, right? So there's things that you're going to see left and right, whatever, right? I believe that these are all tied together in the financial reset. Crypto's going to take off when the reset is in process because that also goes along with our financial system changing. It also
hmm
goes with having money being placed into crypto and taken out of stocks because stocks need to reset. We've said it for a long time that the Dow needs to come down 18 to 18,000 to actually fill in whatever it needs to fill in for a legitimate move. And you got to
hmm
think, 2020, we injected $1.5 billion
a
into
lot.
the,
Yeah,
the stock market that was not based on
legit sales or
stocks
anything.
being right, stocks being purchased. It was literally just to
Right,
keep it afloat because it was ready to die due to COVID.
right.
So if we reset to 18,000, okay, cool. Then at that point, it's nowhere but up for that. And as far as my position goes.
hmm
But years, months, whatever. Hey, all it's doing is just climbing higher, jump off of a higher cliff. And you can go back to past episodes that you and I have done. I've asked, what happens if we lose 50% of our stock market value? People are going to panic.
hmm
It's right here on our doorsteps, guys, but it needs to happen. And if we can survive the last 4 years of that, we can survive not only the 4 years that we're in now, but we can survive this dark time, which should be fairly quick. Like I would assume like maybe a year or two, right? Because he's working at what is considered as light speed right now.
hmm
For us, it's been, almost 100 days he's been in office, right? Well, we're going on what, 60?
Yeah.
Right? So we're almost at 60 days and all these things are happening this quickly. And a lot of this now, if you pay attention to Nasara Jasara, a lot of this is because we're going to end up becoming the Republic of the United States. We're not going to be the United States of America anymore. So if you think that the Gulf of Mexico renaming was big, wait till that ends up happening. That's going to be
Now, explain how um, this is even possible to like what approvals need to happen for the entire name of our country to change like that.
it all has to do with the way our our government is set up, right? So right now, as we've had he's now the 47th president, right?
hmm
It's going to be considered that he's going to be the 19th president under the Republic of the United States of America. It's it's weird. Like you have to go through that to understand it, right?
Hmm.
I'm not even saying I understand it 100%. Otherwise, I'd be able to explain it in the easiest format possible.
Yeah.
But I would prefer people to I would prefer people to do research on Nasara Jasara in the sense of coming up with their own conclusion of what is going to end up happening. So your financial changes, that's all. It's not going to be under the United States of America anymore. It's going to be under the Republic of the United States. Remember, I was telling you like the financial gain for all of us, all the money that we've spent on interest, taxes, this, that, and the other. They've
And
already
what
talked
Doge is
about
doing.
right, and not they're finding all the money, right? But there's
Hmm.
more money out there that we've spent into that we should be getting refunds for.
Hmm.
We're all going to have enough money to survive once this is all done, and it's hard to believe. Trust me, it's hard to wrap your head around the whole concept of what Nasara is. But it's happening on both stages of a local, national, and a global. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's the same policy on both. One's just a national, one's just a global.
Hmm.
So you're seeing things happening that what seem like they're going at a decent speed, but they're actually in warp speed because both are being happening at the same time. We're
Wow.
seeing global changes and we're seeing local changes at the same time, all because of certain changes that we've implemented as a country, right?
Right. Right.
For our leadership. And that's why I said that he's the only one that can do it because he's the only one that has the balls to do all this shit,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a wild time. It's gonna be interesting and it's gonna be
You
weird.
you you've definitely once said many years ago, hey guys, it all needs to break to be rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
And we can potentially, see more breaking coming into place as he starts out this first year.
I will tell you right now, if I went to I think I just got the notification not long ago because I do have XRP. XRP is down fairly badly over
Hmm.
the past 2 or 3 weeks. And I think it's down to like I think it's like 13 or 14% down. It's crazy, but we might see even a bigger drop coming over the next couple months because look, we've got till July now,
Yeah,
and if we're sitting here, well, we're in March right now. I'm looking at the XRP monthly chart right now. If we go back down to 91 cents, then holy shit, people are going to panic.
I'm looking at like 77.
Buy it, buy
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, no, the only reason why I say 91 cents. I'm looking at the Coinbase one, right? I'm
Okay.
looking at the
Okay.
Coinbase chart, and if you look at the very first Coinbase monthly candlestick, it's at 89 cents or something like that. That's
Okay.
technically the monthly resistance that broke,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, um, I really feel like we're gonna end up seeing XRP skyrocketing, but it's gonna drop for a while. Bitcoin's gonna drop for a
Oh
while.
yeah. Pushing back the ISO because that was the big thing to come. I don't know if there's somebody else trying to get in at a better price, but these guys are selling off heavy. But I think in line for that ISO announcement, and I think a lot of people are going to come up off a bag after that. So, many are aware at this point of this happening. So, just be
We got
prepared. I've been stacking for a while.
and we're in March. We got April, May, June. You're telling me that we're going to see three big candlesticks, or at least two big candlesticks with the morning star on that last
Hmm.
one, from where it's at now at 245, 246 to 91 cents. That's going to be a decent sized drop.
Oh yeah.
Right? And we
Yeah.
saw it within three candles going all the way up. You're telling me that we can't see three on the way down?
Right.
So if that's the case, bring it back, let it
Yeah.
retest, give those entries, and then buy the hell out of it. We've been screaming buying not only XRP, but in this financial change, you want to buy precious metals. We can't literally. Have you ever been through a transition in retail from one system to another? Like, as if, let's say, a retail store that you worked in was changing. banks or changing computer
Not through
systems?
a not through a computer system change.
Okay, I have. I've been through that,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's usually happens when ownership changes, names change, etc., right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't do it all at once. You do it in phases, right? And
Mm-hmm.
right now those phases are happening. Now we're going from a emotionally charged money, right? And I say emotionally charged because there's traders involved in this. And right now we're on a system where it's an there's nothing backing the dollar except for what other countries value it as, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
our dollar is valuable because of the petro side of it, right? Oil. So once that gets removed, okay, cool. What are we going to do then? Nothing. We don't have anything. There's nothing to say why our dollar is strong or why our dollar is worth anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you turn around and bring the gold standard back? You've got to change from one system to another. And there's going to be problems in that process.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we're experiencing. It's not because of what you're seeing on mainstream media is bullshit. There's some truth to a lot of it because, of course, tariffs are going to affect everything else, but there's also good reasons as to why tariffs are there. The mainstream media is going to tell you the reasons as to hate it. Good reason number one, Apple. Look what Apple just did. They're investing $500 billion in American manufacturing plants, including in Arizona and in Michigan.
Mm.
$500 billion. And what's going to end up happening is any of those Chinese tariffs, or I shouldn't say Chinese tariffs because I think the Apple products are made in Taiwan, but any tariffs that are being applied into the Asian realm, I guess you can say, any of them are going to be avoided because they're manufacturing on U.S. soil, U.S. jobs, lack of
Yep.
tariffs, everybody wins.
Yep.
He's already secured like 1.6, was it $1.6 trillion in 3 or 4 companies that are going to invest in America.
Wow.
Yeah,
Let's bring a lot of jobs home.
exactly. And people are over here screaming because they don't get to sit there and goof off at their job anymore, their government job. Are you kidding me? You weren't doing anything anyway.
That's a fact.
You know?
True words, my man. True words. I worked in the government for a while, guys. I'm telling you, those tax dollars be getting wasted on a lot of BS.
Right there, you heard it first. Right? And that was from that. And imagine, so you're at this level. Imagine all these guys that are up here with the millions.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So
It's coming
instead,
to clean
okay,
up house, man.
go
I can't
lose
even.
your job,
And,
lose
and
your job. But guess what?
a lot
Apple's
of
got a
people
job for
have
you.
right. A lot of people have sad stories as far as that's concerned. But if we are successfully bringing jobs back to the United States, then there's places for you to go. Now, that does mean you need to scrub up on your credentials, though, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right? But then, you do have some companies, the danger is the AI. So um, that's just going to be part of it.
AI is going to be a threat, but you're always going to need a human, period.
Right. Right. So, but you have to compete, right? That position is going to be there. So you have to compete at the highest level.
And what's the best way to gauge on who's the best for the job? The credentials,
The
right?
credentials. That's right.
So
That's
now
right.
we're looking at why getting rid of DEI is a positive.
Right. Right.
You have to have the best people in the seat.
That's a fact. All right. We're gonna close this commercial break real quick, guys. Thanks for tapping.
I have something truly special to share with you today. Have you ever dreamt of financial success and didn't know where to start? Look no further than Independent Trading University. At ITU, we offer a diverse range of courses, from Forex basics to advanced technicals, along with comprehensive fundamentals education, mindset coaching, health and wellness guidance, plus stock and crypto trading strategies. That's right. Everything you need for a well-rounded trading journey, all in one place. Our mission is clear, helping you make extra income by learning the art of trading. Join us today at solo.to/independent-trading-goo and take advantage of an exclusive pre-sale. $50 for undergrad students looking to trade part-time, and just $75 for career traders ready to dive in full-time. With ITU, you'll master the art of making consistent income from the markets. This is your chance to start building a brighter financial future. Are you ready to transform your trading game and take control of your financial future? Look no further than Independent Trading University, your one-stop destination for comprehensive Forex education and so much more. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced trader, we've got you covered. We believe in a holistic approach to trading success. Gain a deep understanding of market fundamentals, master your mindset, and prioritize your well-being. We're here to support your growth every step of the way. And let's not forget about stocks and crypto. Discover exciting opportunities and learn strategies to make extra income. The best part? We're running a limited time pre-sale for new students. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to gain the skills, knowledge, and support you need to succeed. Ready to make connections with your financial future? Visit our website at solo.to/independent-trading-goo to secure your spot in our pre-sale today. Independent Trading University, where trading dreams become reality. It's time to start your journey to financial freedom. Don't wait. Visit solo.to/independent-trading-goo now.
All right, guys, welcome back to ITUTv podcast. Man, we're getting into segment 3. We're going to talk about what traders need to be aware of, right, as they're going forward with the trading, some tips and tricks, some things that Mike may see to give you guys some advice on going forward with making your trading decisions over the next 30 days before we end the quarter, especially with what's going on now. So, Mike, the floor is yours on that note.
Yeah, so all right. If I'm speaking from a trading perspective, what you need to be aware of right now, I think this is going to be an interest rate month as well. I think it's towards the end of the month, so you're going to want to see that. You're going to want to pay attention to that. Which, if I'm not mistaken, I think they were talking about holding off on changing any interest rates at the moment. So in that case, we'll see a positive reaction from the DXY. We'll see a bullish move. But I'm curious to see what they talk about afterwards. That's always the question, right? So interest rates will be coming up. Keep an eye on the tariffs. If Canada and Mexico decide to stop like right now, I think what's holding everything up is that we're still seeing an excessive amount of fentanyl coming in this country from both sides. And it's actually more on the Canada side than it is on the US or on the Mexico side, which makes sense because there's free healthcare in Canada. So they're going to get different type of supply base, I'm assuming.
Yep. That makes sense.
As far as the border goes, we've seen a huge change. I don't know if you've seen this, but there were reports already now that the border crossings has dropped to a level that we haven't seen in decades. It's down like 95%.
From the south or the north?
Both.
Wow.
But we're still seeing a crazy amount of fentanyl coming into this country. If these two countries can get that fentanyl and the drug portion under control, then they're all compliant. Tariffs will go away.
Makes sense. Washington was messed up. Let me tell you, if there was a place that was messed up with some drug use, it was up in Washington. But with that homeless population and everything, it's rough over there.
Yep. Well, a lot of those people are probably sneaking. Well, I'm not gonna say sneaking, but seeping into Washington from Oregon, because Oregon, they promote the drug use, but they promote safe drug use because they understand people are going to use it, which is one of the most liberal states in this whole country. So it doesn't surprise me that that's kind of the situation that's going on.
Makes
So
sense.
it is what it is. But yeah, right now, if you're a brand new trader, I know that you have to take risks to make money, but don't make stupid risks. Okay. If you feel that right now this economy is something that you can't grasp and you're having a hard time where it's like, I continue to lose money, sit this out into a new market cycle transition. This is not for beginners. The transition is for experienced traders where you're going to see a lot of banks. They're going to be trading, of course, but you're not going to see record number of profits because banks are not going to be doing as much as you think they are. Right? So there's a lot of eyes on what's going on globally. The any possibility of World War III, the situation with Ukraine, how it's all feeding. Watch all of this. It's all important to understand the economy, to understand what's going to be strong and what's going to be weak on these charts. You can definitely use the tools on there. Like I'm using RSI. I can tell you right now that the Great British Pound needs to have a massive drop. I can tell you that right now the U.S. dollar needs to have a nice push on the way up, probably over for the next couple days or so. On the smaller time charts. But hey, where we're gonna be at, it's only a matter. We can't give you the time for it. We can't say, oh well, on this day at this time it's gonna hit this price. No, we don't use clocks. We use prices on here. So that's why I say it's not for beginners. It's not for the weak, because you're going to be caught in some volatility that you did not expect. So if you're a beginner and you want to experience it, you want to experience the ride, by all means do it. Just risk the minimal amount that you can. So this way you can say you did it, you learn from it, and you can learn from those experiences.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to demo it either. Just so you aren't putting, like he said, capital at risk that's unnecessary. Please be prepared though. Like I use this time to educate, use this time to do your research, to go over and really understand what's going on right now, so that you can have a plan, when things settle in again, right? With this being the last month of the quarter as well, we're going to start to see either some slowdown or some heavy pushes, but we're going to line out how this quarter is going to be, which could set the tone for what happens as we get into the rest of the year. So just be prepared. Pay attention to the address. The address is going to go on. You need to know what he has planned, right, policy-wise and everything, because that's what you're going to be basing your decisions off of going into the rest of the next 4 years. So just be smart about it. And also, one thing real quick, check out the Global Digital Economy Conference they had today. I'm not sure if it was earlier, if it's going on at this moment, but they'll give you a lot of insight into future market trends and things going on. So, what you got, Mike?
Dude, so back at the beginning of February, I think we were on a call. I just looked at my GA charts. I had GA marked up for 2 trades, a sell and a buy.
Yeah.
So I'll be the first one to say that the sell. Here, can I show my screen?
Sure. You should be. Yep. Look
Perfect example of kind of what we're talking about here, right? So look, this gap, GA opened at a 1 hour gap. This is back. Look at this. This is February 9th, Sunday, February. So this is from one of our overviews. Right? So there's a gap. It gapped up. Can't necessarily expect when gaps are going to happen, but I didn't give myself enough for the entry. I put it just above this previous high, not expecting it to blast off, but here's your liquidity grab, right?
It's still in the flag.
if you're going to trade, this is why I say give yourself a little bit of extra. Go to the previous support that's now resistance, right? If I did that, it'd have been a larger stop loss, but I would have profited 149 pips, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Damn
But
near.
even
I
if
mean,
you didn't, because you wouldn't have even taken
it
that
was 133.
entry, you wouldn't have even taken that entry with the gap. Like, it would have definitely come in after the gap had even happened, and then you would have just saw a breakdown anyway.
Well, that's the whole thing. The entry point was here,
Mm-hmm.
and the market hadn't even opened yet.
Right. So it came right back to that area and kept falling. It's not like it came there
So
and bounced back, but
if
you would have had a
that, if
solid
that,
trade.
theoretically speaking, yes, there you go. It is
Right.
133 pips. But remember, I said, well, we're going to see it come down and go back up.
Mm-hmm.
Bruh.
Wow. Wow.
All the way.
Smooth move.
There was the stop right there. And that was almost 700
Massive.
pips.
Massive.
Whoa.
What a trade, bro. What a trade.
That's cool. Right.
And you guys can go back and watch when he originally plotted this, because this is on the ITU YouTube channel, on that specific overview. So, hey, man.
Yeah, it was. We were live. So, yeah, like, it's just, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can understand those levels, but I'm sitting here, I still am in awe over some of the moves because, like this one, because I hadn't seen it since we didn't do it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And because GA is not one of the tradable pairs on Top Step, unfortunately, I can't do it. But I'm a huge fan of GA. That's my pair. So
US golf.
it still just gets me in awe because I'm not expecting it to go that way like that. Like, I would have expected it to come down a little more. That thing just went right up. To happen so quickly, right?
Yeah.
That the reason why I'm even talking about this right now is because there's traders that will go in there and be like, "Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this," and they don't respect the market in that sense.
Right.
I'm humbly saying that those two were good trades. They were good trades, period. So I could have just used levels. I did. I mean, you saw it was RSI and it was support and resistance for the most part, patterns, etc. But that volatility is what I wouldn't have been prepared for.
Yep.
That thing's straight up,
Yeah. Yeah.
So people need to be aware. That's why I say, like, as quickly as that it went one way, it could have went the other.
That's the market, though, man. That's how it goes
Correct.
for us. Name of the game.
Correct.
All right. So I hope this helps you guys. When we talk about a lot going on with the Trump administration, with Russia, thing that went down in Zelensky, what we're looking at economically as far as, global markets are concerned, and crypto. So, that was an update to me with the ISO being pushed out to July. So that's going to hold things back, right? We're going to see more crypto, probably downside before we see any upside, here recently. But other than that, man, thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate the entire audience that does tap in with us. We are still up and operational, man. Things are going well. As far as we are concerned, trading is looking decent. I'm on hold this week. It's NFP week and everything, so I try not to be too active. When you got Trump speaking and you got NFP, and I'll be ready to rock things out again next week. So please tap in. If you're looking to learn, looking to get educated, ITU is here to help you guys along the way. I hope this economic update finds you guys well, and I will holler at you guys later. Mike, thanks for everything. Thanks for keeping us educated and informed out here.
All day, baby. Got you. Welcome.
All right.